So this is Myrra. She is an independent sales director with Mary Kay. I wanted to interview her today to talk about her experience running a business in Boise, raising kids in Boise, and Boise in general.
All right, Boise. All things Boise.
All things Boise.
Fantastic. So we actually have only been in Boise since 2014,
Okay.
which is kind of great because this is the fourth place that I've done my business. And of all of the moves that I've done, I'd say this has probably been the easiest for a couple of reasons. Some of them are demographic and just, I was 22 when I started with Mary Kay, and I have learned, and it's my fourth move, so it's, I learn things every time I restart in a new area. But one of the things I love about being here in Boise is that we have even though it's a small airport, it's a pretty good size airport. And so it makes it really easy to get where you need to go. Even for international flights, we just came back from Australia and we were able to, connect pretty seamlessly, even with some travel delays coming back.
Very nice.
To get to the airport in Boise.
Okay.
So,
and where did you live before this?
We lived in Bend, Oregon, and before that we lived in a little town called Lebanon, Oregon, which is where I went to high school, and that was where we lived because we were taking care of my mom through the end of her life.
Okay.
And we moved to Bend to get to a place where my relatives didn't feel like they could just show up on my doorstep any time of the day or night and expect to be fed and to come in. I'd be like, why are you here? Oh, well, you were home. And I'm like, well, I only answered because I thought you were the UPS man. I'm leaving. If you want to stay, go ahead. But I'm leaving. So, and then Boise, we moved here for my husband to go to Boise State because his dream is to finish his undergraduate degree. He's, visually impaired and always wanted to finish that. And the Boise State has a great disability resources program. I know it's called something else that's more correct now, but Mike Gibson over at that department is also a blind graduate student with a personality like a bulldog. So he gets things done.
That's really cool.
Done.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So as far as your business goes, what are some of your goals and visions that you have?
Well, I'm working on a couple of pretty big promotions. I'm working on increasing my business. I think actually, because my business is twofold, it's recruiting and training, and it's also personal selling. I have had higher personal sales from 2014 and on since I moved here than I've ever had with less effort, because there's a lot of people who are also moving into the area who are looking they are familiar with my company, even maybe from 20 years ago, and they're like, oh, well, let's try this out. And I was a little bit hesitant at first because there are some, living legends in our company who live just up the road in Middleton. And these are gals who are from Treasure Valley. They've been here their whole lives and careers. They've been in my business, one of them over 40 years, one of them almost 30 years.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, great, I'm going to need that airport. I'm going to need to learn Spanish. I'm going to need to serve different markets. I'm going to need to drive 2 hours in order to make anything happen. And I've been pleasantly surprised because even people from as far away as Twin Falls who maybe come into my network from one way or another, they all come to town, and especially where we live in Southeast Boise, they're like, oh, you're right off the Broadway exit? Fine.
They're here anyway.
I'll come next week when I come to town to go to Costco or, whatever they want to do. So.
Okay. So have you found that, I forgot what I was going to ask you.
Well, I can say one thing about buying a house. We were not prepared. We were not planning to buy a house in Boise. We were prepared to come here for school and live in a rental condo and to not love it. We thought it was going to be a certain way, and that, in a culture that was going to be very uniform, that wasn't going to be very diverse, that wasn't going to be very welcoming to us as somebody who wasn't, a certain religious group. And we didn't find that to be true at all. We broke our lease within 3 months and bought a house.
Wow.
We bought the first house we've ever bought in our entire marriage. And we've looked before, we've thought about settling down in other places, and something else would come up and we'd be like, let's just go to China instead. That's more fun than buying a house. Then we don't have to move, so it was really saying something that we decided to put down permanent roots in Boise.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense. So if you had any recommendations for somebody who wanted to start a business in Boise, what would you suggest? Mary Kay or any?
Well, if you have any field, I've found that there are not a lot of vision therapists. So if you're the special kind of optical nerd who's been to that kind of school, it seems like there's a lot of opportunity for that.
Okay.
It seems like there's a lot of opportunity for everything because this area is growing so fast.
Yeah.
And even one of the things I've learned is that I can't work with everyone. When I lived in my small hometown, which I did for probably 7 or 8 years, and I did my business really successfully there, my mindset was, I want to be the Mary Kay lady or the director of everyone who's in this town. And one of the things I've learned with how fast Boise has even grown since we've been here is that that's not possible for me to service everyone, but there are plenty of people out there. So even if you're a Mary Kay director, come. We need you. We could use your help. But there's just so much opportunity in this area because the population is growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and
I feel like the other thing, because Boise, even though Boise is more of a smaller city still in terms of you're going to put it up with Salt Lake or something like that, because it's a capital city, there is so much here and there's so much higher spending power and number of professionals and just services needed here because it's a capital city and because of the student population.
Yeah, we have a lot of great resources for small business owners.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's still very accessible because it's still small enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, I think where we live right now, I feel fancy because I live near downtown of a city. Wow, 5 minutes away.
That's a big deal, right?
It is, especially for this small town America girl.
Yes, exactly. That's a big accomplishment. Well, thank you for your time.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so if anyone wanted to learn more about becoming a Mary Kay consultant or buying Mary Kay, what would you suggest?
So I have a personal website with shopping. You can go to my personal website, which is marykay.com/Myrra D. You can also go to the company's website. If you have a beauty consultant already, I encourage you to talk to her about that. But it's a great company, it's a great product, and it's something that's a very portable career. So this will probably not be the last place that we live, and so I look forward to taking all the lessons I've learned here in Boise and making that happen in another place, wherever that next place will be.
All right. Well, thank you.